What's up, guys? Welcome to my right out of the theater, non spoiler review of Spider Man Across the Spider Verse. I finally saw this movie, and yeah, the movie. Well, let's get into it. I liked it. I would say I loved it. So I gotta navigate my way home while I'm driving. So it might take a second. Bear with me while I pull out. It's kind of back. Yeah, it's kind of. I don't get much of a rush hour out here in the middle of nowhere, but I mean, kind of the middle of nowhere. I'm in Idaho Falls right now. That's where I'm at, just like an hour north of where I live in Pocatello. So, but all right, we're out of the road. Just waiting to flip a Yui here so I can get going the right way. There we go. Okay. So, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, and hopefully this holds. And hopefully my phone doesn't overheat. So that's what I'm got my fingers crossed because it already started to get a little hot because well, it won't let me have multiple windows open, meaning I can't see my GPS, but I can hear it. So so yeah, I think I remember how to get out of this town, but I haven't lived here super long. And let's close the window. There we go. Okay, sounds way better. But and sorry for the shadow. I got the sun literally shining directly on me, so this is kind of what it's gonna look like. But yeah, so originally I came up here to do a double feature because Regal said that they're showing Raiders of the Lost Ark at 4 p.m. my time, and I was all set to see that movie on the big screen for the first time, and boy was I excited. And of course, they had it listed wrong because they had it all the way until I got into Idaho Falls. I rolled into Idaho Falls, 15-minute drive at 5:0. And if you hear me pausing, I'm listening to the GPS in my earbuds talk to me. But and I rolled into town, and it's not there anymore. And I go and I asked them. They said, "Yeah, it's not playing till Wednesday, and it's playing at 7 p.m." And I'm like, "What the f?" That's literally when we're doing Wheel of Movies reviewing Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like it starts at 7 Mountain Time. I'm on Mountain Time, so that would be 9 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, tune into that though. I'm gonna watch it tonight when I get home. I just saw a movie. Going home to watch a movie, and I'm gonna dim the lights, put it on my 4K TV, watch it in the best way possible. So yeah, it won't be a theater, but it'll be close. I have really good sound at home and a 75-inch 4K, but it's not as big as the theater. But yeah, so Spider-Man into the Spider, I did see that. I was actually able to pull that one off. So and it was awesome. It was so good. Thing for me is though, like as much as I love animated movies and appreciate them. Thing is, an animated movie is never going to hold up to a live action movie for me, no matter what they're doing. Like, but that's not going to take a whole lot away from this because this movie was beautiful. This movie was a work of art. Like as far as animation goes, it's the best animated movie of all time. Period. Hands down. End of story. Like there's not even a debate to be had. That is not an opinion anymore. That is fact. So yeah, it's beautiful. That they use so many animation styles that like I can't even name them all. They're doing 3D. They're doing like old school, like Disney style. They're doing comic book style, like about 5 or 6 different types of comic book stuff. This thing is ripped right out of the comic books, like right out of it. And man, was I there for it? Like, oh man, like I can't wait to see this movie again on the big screen because I definitely want to. But nowadays, movies aren't staying in theaters that long. 3 weeks and they're out. Like, so we'll see because there's a bunch of blockbusters. It is the summertime, but yeah, the Across the Spider Verse was incredible, and I love the character of Miles Morales. I'm really excited we get to look into this character more because I also have the PlayStation game that I've been playing, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Miles Morales is a character that I am not that familiar with. I grew up reading Spider-Man comics. If you know me, like as far as the movie hero network goes, and a lot of these circles, I am the Spider-Man guy. Like Spider-Man is for me. In my top 20 of all time, I have two Spider-Man movies in my top 20 movies of all time. In my top 128, I probably have at least three. But and I'd have to look at it. I have more than that, but so and I grew up reading Spider-Man comic books. Like I read the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man, the Ultimates run. I read like every Craven the Hunter run because those are awesome. I can't wait for the Craven the Hunter movie. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. Please, Aaron Taylor Johnson, do it justice for us as that character. But because if we can get into some of the stuff that Craven's Last Hunt gets into, whew, that is some of the most powerful comic book like reading I've ever read. Like best writing. Like oh, it's got to be up there with like that and like the Dark Knight Returns and stuff and from Frank Miller and all that. But um, and yeah, I think I gotta turn up here. But yeah. So and I'm gonna give you about a five count. Now I'm giving you a minor spoiler. This is the only thing I'm gonna do that's gonna be even any kind of remote spoiler. So when the countdown gets to one, it's gonna be a 10-second spoiler. So count to 10, you can come back. So five, four, three, two, one. This movie is a cliffhanger. It is a two-parter, and you don't find that out to the end that there's gonna be two parts to it. All right. Come back, come back. Okay. So, anyways, with that being said, um, this movie was so much fun and like had so many great themes too. The writing was great. The writing was on point. The writing like of just like embracing who you are, like not being afraid to just be your true self, like loving family, loving friends. I mean, how one little thing can affect so many other things. Like it's just some really deep and really cool things. I'm probably missing some in there too. There's probably a lot of Easter eggs I missed because I was so engrossed in this thing. Like the next time I go, because when I saw it this first time, I was focused on the story and the animation, basically, just like watching over that. And I wasn't paying attention to too many like Easter eggs or anything. So yeah, but I did notice some Oscorp things in the background. Uh, and that's really about it because I'll get more into Easter eggs maybe after a second watch. But yeah, it really focuses on the Gwen Stacy character, like Spider Gwen specifically. And then there's some other ones. There's the Prowler as a villain in this thing. There's Spot is the villain, the one you see in the trailers, like making bread come out of himself in the grocery store. And man, one of the reasons why I freaking love Spider-Man and what this movie does so great is the way that he just it's like flipping and flying and like just like doing all kinds of cool cartwheels and acrobatics and flying in between these nooks and crannies and crevices and just dropping down into these like impossible to get into places because Spider-Man's so agile and nimble and he's got reflexes, got cat-like speed and reflexes, and then the spider sense, and they do all that so well. And like, I understand how some people might get a bit of a headache watching this movie like Austin because it goes between 10 different animation styles, and they do some cool stuff. So I'm not gonna spoil it, but live action mixed into animation. Just watch for it. Just watch for it. And you'll see it's really cool what they do. This movie has great humor too because they kind of play into the fact that Spider-Man has humor, and then they find one version in particular that has no humor to him, and he's like the serious, brooding, dark Spider-Man. And the one thing that I will say, and it was my worry coming to this movie is busy, too busy for me. Like it's just like like 100 different characters flipping and flying all over the place and talking, and you got to keep track of about 30 or 40 or and it's like hard to keep them straight, and you're just like what's happening? There's like way too many characters on screen. It's a little busy. Like I'm like looking over the screen, and like my attention deficit disorder can't keep up. I'm like, what do I look at? What do I focus on? But um, so that part is kind of like maybe one of my only negatives, and why I'm close to giving this a perfect score, but I can't because it's too busy. I like my Spider-Man simple. Don't overcomplicate Spider-Man. Don't do that. Like just keep it your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man where he's struggling to pay his rent. He's miserable. He can't tell his family who he is. Or if it's Miles Morales, you're just like a teenager, 15 in this movie, just trying to navigate high school and navigate life with his family and his parents, and he's but I do like the cultural influences that Miles brings to the table, being half black and half Hispanic. That's really awesome. Just him as an overall character, and they portray it in an incredible way in the movie. And you do see familiar characters from the first movie. I won't say which ones, but some of them do come back and play a bigger role. I think that they bring in Spider Woman. They have all kinds like a Spider Cat that's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. I won't say any of the ones that aren't necessarily in the trailer, but there's all kinds of different Spider, and it is fun to see. It is just when there's so much going on screen all at once. But so Brian's asking, what is it ranking in my Spider-Man rankings? Sorry, I gotta take my sunglasses off to see, but it. Hmm, I probably need some more time to think about it because I'm never gonna. I'll say this right now. I'm never gonna have an animated Spider-Man as my number one. I'm just not. So it's got to be live action for me. So these comic books are great and they're fun to read and they're amazing. And like I read comics like every week, but it's just I don't know. I'm just a live action guy. I think what they're going to be doing next with uh, Tom Holland in the next movie, it has some serious, incredible potential. So I'm looking forward to that. But where to rank it? I mean, probably after some rewatches, No Way Home is my number one. Probably Spider-Man 2 is my number two, and just because I love Andrew Garfield so much, I gotta give the Amazing Spider-Man my number three. I just got to, not number two, just the first one. But and then I'll rate this one fourth, so it's fourth overall. So with that being said, I mean it's hard to give this movie like an all time status. It just is, but the music's great. What they're doing with the family stuff is incredible. As far as movies of the year, though, this might be my favorite movie of the year. So, so there's that. Like it's up there with like Creed 3 ranked really high for me. John Wick Chapter 4, Air's pretty high. Tetris is another one. So those are one of my highs of the year. I don't know if I'm leaving any like bangers out. Guardians 3. I don't know if that will make my top 10 or not. Maybe, but that's another honorable mention. Maybe, but so fourth overall for my Spider-Man movie. And the thing is, I tried to go into this thing with low expectations. I'm trying to do that, but the Spider-Man character means so much to me that like I can't do it with this character. Like it just my whole heart and soul and like he's in every fiber of my being. Like if I could be Spider-Man, that was it for me when I was a kid. I wanted to be Spider-Man, be Peter Parker. Even before I saw any kind of any type of live action movie, I just knew what the potential of these stories were, and when he's flipping and flying. But I did grow up with the animated series. The animated series it was huge for me, and like there's some powerful stuff, really cool things that they do. And there's a minor spoiler for the animated series, but when he finally takes off his mask and reveals it to Mary Jane, and that's like season three or something like that. Man, that is a huge moment. That like has stakes. You feel the impact of that. It's something you've been building up to and waiting for so long that it's just like I hope they find a way to do that in the live action movies. I really hope. uh, and and maybe they'll do it in the Spider Verse. But like, I love what they're doing with the Spider Verse. I don't know if it's connected to um that like MCU and stuff because I won't say anything. But there's a minor question that makes me question whether or not it's connected. But I don't think it is. I think it's its own pocket thing. But this is the best use of the multiverse, like by far, best one that's ever been done. Like this is the new king of multiverse movies. Like it just is. And the only thing is though, like they don't start off explaining how they travel through the multiverse. They just do it, and then later on you find out, oh, that's how they do it. So um, yeah, I really dig the beginning. Like the my favorite parts are the beginning and the end. The middle is where it gets like too crowded and too busy, you know. But the beginning, it's a simple story. It's just him being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But the thing is, they say neighborhood Spider-Man, but he's in New York. Like, sure, that's a neighborhood, but when I think neighborhood, I grew up in the suburbs, so I think of neighborhood as like your subdivision where you grew up with your block, like just your block of houses over like a few blocks, and that's your neighborhood, not like Queens and uh, Brooklyn and like whatever Manhattan, you know. So, but those are neighborhoods. I'm just not from the city. I've always lived in small towns. I've always grown up. I've been to plenty of cities, but and I don't know which I prefer. I'm really glad I grew up in a small town. Like I am very thankful for that. But and I didn't have to grow up in the city because I think that would have been a worse childhood. Like like I don't know. Raise your kids in a small town or the suburbs if you can. Don't raise kids in the city. You can live in the city as an adult. That's fine. But yeah. So this movie's great. I had so much fun with it though. Like there's parts that like made me cry. And I'll admit, when I first started to see what they were doing with the animation, like it was some of the most groundbreaking stuff I've ever seen. Like there's a part of me that like thought, man, like I'm watching an all-time great movie. Like it's gonna go down in history as one of the greatest. And I just felt this like I don't know warm feeling inside that I'm just like, man, like I'm really watching something special here. And it is like that's special, but there's a lot of movies that are special and will be all timers. So I have to think about how it ranks my all time list. It'll probably make my 128. It probably will. And I'll say the first Into the Spider-Verse not gonna make my 128 probably ever. But this one probably will. I just have to think about it. I haven't plugged it into Flickchart yet out of all the movies I've ever seen and done the little 1v1 game there, but I will when I get home, and we'll see where it lands. But yeah, like this movie's for everybody. Well, for everyone except for people who get a headache from the animation because there's a lot of flashing, a lot of bright colors, and like different things. But so Austin maybe not, but like don't rule it out though. Not, like I don't want to discourage you because like I don't know. I think that it works. I can't see it. Like the first one kind of made me a little dizzy, but I got used to this one pretty fast. And they just some cool stuff. They have like some really gritty kind of glossed over um, animation, but then they also have some shiny and super new and like I don't know, like really cool, like polished animation, and it's on purpose like that. And like I don't know, like I just like love what they're doing with the animation in this one in particular. Like it's just incredible, incredible. And they play out different things like comic books. I don't know if they're doing different chapters, but they keep going back to different comic book covers and they flip it open and then you see more. And so I don't know if those are like different chapters or if it's the close of one chapter or like what it is, but like I appreciate that. And yeah, this is like the most comic book movie of all time. As far as like comic book movies that seem like an actual comic book movie that's like what you would want to have ripped right from the pages of a comic book onto the screen, it's number one, hands down of all time. But as far as like superhero movies and like comic book like adaptations for me. It's not gonna be number one. I'm curious to like sit down and decide where it's gonna rank all time for just like comic book movies in general. But it's fourth overall for Spider-Man. That's what I'm saying, and I'm sticking to it for now. But and I may have to think about that. I may bump up to three. I'm debating about the Amazing Spider. I just love Andrew Garfield. So you know what? Yeah, no, I can't do it yet. It's too fresh. But I was about to put it higher, but I can't. So I just love Andrew Garfield, and Shamik Moore kills it in this. Like, it's so good. I didn't really look up the voice cast or the director. I just kind of clicked on the camera and started filming. So I'd like to look into like who were some of the voice casts. I definitely recognize some voices for sure, and there's someone I'm like where have I heard that voice before? It sounds so familiar. So there's definitely some that I recognize, but so I'm definitely gonna be doing that. But yeah, like I'd actually like to do like a whole Spider-Man, like a podcast maybe, or if anyone out there's doing one, put me on. I'm the Spider-Man guy. I'm your boy for that, and just rank them all and talk about them, like the pros and the cons, and like because definitely the worst Spider-Man is Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like say what you want about Spider-Man 3, I'll defend it. I'll defend it. It's not gonna be at the top, but I'll defend it for sure. And yeah, it's getting hot in here. Get some drink. My AC in this car sucks, so it gets hot in here. But I'm gonna make it to a whole summer of this. But it's all good. And I work hard to get a new car. I'm not doing any upgrades to this car. It's kind of an old one, but it's fine because the next one's gonna be nice. And put in the time and money and effort to get a nice one. But anyways, the review. I mean, I can't really think of like too much else to say. Like, I love his relationship with his family. Like, I love stories that bring really good, positive family themes and situations. That's like just really heartfelt and like I don't know, like just seeing the dynamic. Not like a Fast and Furious movie where they just talk about family, but they're not really family. They just act like family, and it gets cheesy. Like this is not cheesy. It's like there's no cheesy moments in this. All the humor works, all the action works. Like the story from beginning to end, it works. Like I'm hard pressed to find any cons except for it being too busy. Like even the length of it. Like there was a part where I literally thought that the movie was going to be over, and it was almost over at that point. I only had like a few minutes left, but I remember thinking to myself, "No way! There's no way there can be over here. There has to be more to this thing." And I found myself wanting more. That's a good sign that it's got good pacing and like you don't feel the length. It's over 2 hours, but um, so yeah, but yeah, this movie's great. Like man, like I really have to think about this one because like I want to rank Amazing Spider-Man higher than this one, but at the same time, I want to give it a higher score than what I give Amazing Spider-Man. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it up to three. Let's do it. Three, baby, of all time Spider-Man movies because when I think of Amazing Spider-Man, I'm really just doing it because of Andrew Garfield and the chemistry he has with Emma Stone. So, and that doesn't make a whole movie. That just makes some of the characters. So, but everybody's great. Every last character and some of the characters you see in this man, I want to talk about it. Like, sometime I'll do a more spoiler one because there's some cool characters that they introduce into this thing. And I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone, but man, there's some cool ones that are right up my alley. Like right up. So, yeah, and I'm excited what they do with this franchise moving forward. There's a lot of potential here. So, yeah, and I know for sure this is like going to be in my top 10 of the year. I already know it. And maybe it'll crack my top five. We'll see. Because soon, I think at the end of June, I'm going to jump on a podcast about movies with Austin and Jacob, and talk about our um, top 10 movies for the first half of the year. So, and I was gonna do something on my show, but they're already talking about it. So I'm like, if you have me on, then that'll be good for talking about the halfway point. If not, I gotta do my own podcast because I want to talk about it. Like this has been a good year for movies, like a good year, like one of the best in years for movies. So, I'm looking at a little mini lake while I'm driving, and there's a boat. People are tubing and water skiing this tiny little lake. That's tiny by Blackfoot, Idaho. Anyways, I didn't think it looked big enough to do anything with. But anyways, see, I get distracted. ADD. What can I say? But yeah. So since I'm bumping to number three, and I am gonna give this movie a 9 out of 10 for now. I want to give it a 9.5, but that might come after some rewatches. We'll see if it stays at 9, if it bumps a little higher, or if it goes to 8.5. I don't know what's going to happen. But for right now, I'll say 9 out of 10. I know people are praising it as the best movie of the year, and that's rightly so, because I think it could be the best movie of the year. I need to think on it, but it might be my favorite movie of the year. I need some time to sit on it. But yeah, and some people were saying all the time, like best animated movie of all time, best movie period, like one of the best of all time. Like so, that is a tough call, but I'm not gonna say it's the best of all time, but I'm saying it's in the conversation for best animated movie of all time, and probably my favorite movie of the year so far. Really, but that's gonna do it for my review. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Or I keep calling it Into the Spider Across the Spider-Verse. The second one, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I don't know if I started out this review saying into, but it's across. So if I did that, sorry, I apologize. Um, yeah, and this makes me want to go home and play the freaking Miles Morales game. That game's incredible. It's got incredible graphics that look almost lifelike, and then they just released some more DLC for it. We can play as multiple characters in the game, and there's a trailer with some gameplay that's like 12 minutes long. That's like really cool. Go look for that. The new Spider-Man Miles Morales gameplay trailer, and it's on PlayStation. That's why I'm a PlayStation guy, because it's a Spider-Man exclusive with Sony. So, um, and yeah, it makes me want to read some Miles Morales comics too. So, or find out where they cross paths, because I can't remember if they did anything with Miles Morales in the 90s, or 90s animated series. Because I want to rewatch that series. That series is a banger. Uh, I still remember like the music. No, 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 no. That's just music they play during the episodes, but then that techno-y sounding intro, it's cool. But yeah, I don't know if Miles Morales ever showed up, if that's like a newer character, but it came out after the series. I don't know, but I do remember one last thing I want to say. Why the character means so much to me is because I grew up reading all those comics I mentioned, and then every week in the newspaper they had a Spider-Man comic strip written by I think Stan Lee himself. I'm pretty sure, but it'd come out weekly, and what I would do is I would save all the comic book sections for a week, and come Saturday or Sunday actually, I'd wait till Sunday, because Sunday's when you get the colorful one. If I remember right, I think they played it all week long, and then um, sometimes the Sunday one was a new one. It didn't always relate to the rest of the week, um, but yeah, and I would read them as one story because they're too short to just read like 3 or 4 panels and be done with it. So, but yeah, so ever since I was very, very little, so I'm gonna continue my love for Spider-Man probably forever. I mean, Spider-Man. So like, if I were to rank my like geek characters, like I love things like Star Wars and Star Trek and like that kind of stuff, but really, like I'm a superhero guy through and through. So it's gonna be Spider-Man, then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's number two. And those flip flop. Sometimes it's Turtles at number one. So I don't know. Like that might be a bold statement that I just said. Like I don't know. Like they might be tied for one. You know what? They're tied for one. I'm gonna say it. They're both number one. Then it goes X Men. Then it goes Deadpool. Those are pretty much my top. And if I were to rank a DC, Batman's always number one. I got into the Flash comic, but I read the whole Flashpoint series, and those are awesome. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this review. I'll end it here. 9 out of 10. The movie's great. Go see it. It's for everybody. Even if you think you might get a headache from this and that animation, try it out. Just try it. If you have to walk out, our policy when I worked at a theater, if you walk out before the 30-minute mark, we'll give you a refund still. I don't know if that will hold up at most theaters, but try it if you have to walk out. But or I mean, I think this movie deserves to be seen on the big screen. I don't want to see it again on the big screen, but I don't know. If you think you have to wait, then wait. But anyways, yeah, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, 9 out of 10. That'll do it. And tune in to whenever you watch it. I'll just give a general plug. We have tournament fights and tier ranker fights every Tuesday and Friday. And then twice a month, we're doing the Seen and Heard trivia. If you'd like to be on any of those shows, just DM me on Facebook. That's the best way. And if you have suggestions for multiple shows, rather than send me a bunch of DMs, go to, because nobody uses our email that much, but I'm encouraging it, moviehero2121 at gmail.com. And hit the subscribe button, the like button, share this with your friends, tell people to tune in. And yeah, like we're a fun channel and we're open to having all kinds of people on. So if you want to come rank some movies or talk movies or be on a podcast or whatever, just hit me up and let me know. So, but anyways, we will see you next time. Peace.